to another great show today. Are you guys ready? Today is the day. ASA Mentor Match. Right before you even jump in everything, guys, I got to tell you, if you're part of American Staffing Association, you got to be part of the Mentor Match. This program is insane. It helps everybody grow. And look, I met my boy right beside me, Chris, on the Mentor Match program. All right, guys, are you ready for, because today's is all about the story about the Chris LePore story. I mean, this is a story that we're going to talk about, deep dive into it from, hooping it up, clipboarding, whistles, to the staffing industry and how it's so related. Here he is, the one and only Chris LePore. What's up, brother?
How we doing, man? I think about our first interaction at ASA, and mentor matches can come via email, and sometimes they just start with a bear hug.
I know. So in the beginning, let's go back to this. So I'm at ASA this year at the Staffing World, and Chris rolls up to me, and I don't think we ever talked before much, did we? I don't even know.
I've just been, locked into your podcast and following you and sharking it up.
So he rolls up to me and he's like, yo, you're going to be my mentor in 25. I'm thinking, who is this kid? What's going on here? And the rest is history. He puts the request in, gets me, of course. And we're having fun. We had our first meeting already. And then I said, you know what? What I'm going to do, I'm going to take it to a step level. Chris, and you're the first one, but I hope a lot of more mentees follows your trail and actually comes on my platform and share their story, because everybody has a good story. And in 25, we want to hear it.
Absolutely. It's been awesome, especially for somebody like myself who's newer to the industry, to be able to get those natural interactions and just hear your experiences. For me, that's so much value for somebody like myself.
I love it, brother. All right, man, you ready? So you sit back, relax. You get your coffee yet? Are you relaxed now, man?
I'm ready, man.
You ready, buddy? All right, so let's take us back to like high school, man. You were a b-ball player, you told me. Give me a little skill there, and then go on to college, and how did you dive into like coaching, and then especially the college level?
Yeah, no doubt. So I was told my whole life as a player, you're going to be a coach one day. I think just, being the one who's most engaged in the timeouts and good listener, followed directions. I think coaches liked me. And so they saw myself being a coach one day. I think now that I'm on the other side of it, I see the subliminal messaging like, hey, you're not going to the NBA, so you should try coaching. I think there might have been some subliminal messaging in there, but no, I fell in love with coaching as soon as I got into it. I just loved the process of being a part of a young athlete's life during the crucial years of their development as a college athlete. The recruiting process starts when they're in high school. Yeah. And you celebrate that moment when they pick your school after all the work and the official visits and talking to their parents and their uncles and their cousins and their AAU coach and their high school coach. You celebrate that moment so much, and then you get 4 years to really develop them and turn them into the best man and the best basketball player they can be. And, those special relationships carry on beyond that. And, I've gotten to be in several of my players' weddings and help them with their resumes and see them get their first jobs, become fathers. That was the stuff about coaching that I just couldn't get enough of.
It's all about teamwork. That people first. I always say this. So let's go back a little bit. Let's rewind back, man, because we got some time here, Chris. So what made you like your first coaching job? You come out of college or whatever like that. I mean, did you just jump right into this?
So while I was in college, I was a student manager. So, I'm filling up the water bottles. I'm getting the jerseys cleaned.
Water boy.
I'm pumping up the basketballs. I'm rebounding for guys. That was my job, and whatever's asked, it rolls downhill, right? I mean, you're getting the bottom of the barrel tasks, but it was to be a part of a team. You would do anything. Been a part of a basketball team my whole life. So if it meant, folding the towels pregame, then that's what it took. If it meant, driving 500 miles to make sure one of our players gets their passport renewed, then that's what it took. You don't ask questions. You just do it, whatever the team needs in that moment. But that was at Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee. And when I graduated from there, I spent 7 years at UNC Greensboro in North Carolina, and then a couple years at Cincinnati here in Ohio. I'm actually in Cincinnati right now. before making the transition.
So the first one in Belmont. Let's go there. I mean, I know this from my brother being an athletic trainer. You put a lot of hours in, Chris.
Oh, no
How
doubt.
many hours do you put in per week as a coach?
I never really thought about it on a hours per week basis until I got to the end, and I was like, how much am I working? Because you don't really think about it
Yeah.
for the most part as work, right? You live in the gym, you live in the office. When you're home, you're watching film, you're calling recruits. Like, it's just part of the job. You don't even think about how many hours it's been. But I would say realistically, you're easily doing 70, 80 hours a week. And I think there's sometimes where it can push 100.
Wow,
Yeah.
so okay. So in Belmont, I mean, when you went to like away games, what was it? I mean, you're not flying there, are you? Are you taking a Greyhound or school bus? What's going on?
Yeah. Belmont and UNCG were very similar in that, a plane ride, a commercial like Delta flight was like a huge deal, right? Most of those places we're busing. We're going to be on the bus for 10 hours, and those hours are filled up, right? We're watching film, we're breaking things down, we're getting ready to press. We're traveling with a printer, we're printing things on the bus. I mean, it's crazy to set up. I mean, we'll do it all. But that changed a little bit when we got to Cincinnati and we were flying private planes everywhere. A little bit of a different budget to work with, but yeah, many hours spent on a bus, no doubt.
So you get to know everybody. When they say teamwork, I mean, their personal life, everything with these kids.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because we're talking primarily you're talking 18 to 22-year-olds, right? And everybody walks in the gym with a little baggage, whatever they're going through on that particular day, right? And that can affect performance. And so we got to get to know those things about every individual in our locker room. And so we spend so much time. And my boss at Greensboro in Cincinnati, I worked for the same guy almost 10 years, Wes Miller, who's the head coach at Cincinnati now. He emphasized those personal connections and relationships so much with our guys. And I was really grateful for that because, I think that's the utmost transferable skill into the staffing world is that relationship building.
It is. Okay, so here's something I know everybody out there, it's in the audience, probably wants to know this too, is actually so discipline. Not every kid is going to bed at the same time or, athletes. So are you part of that disciplinary board or what happens like if they stay on past their curfew or I hate to say it, have a drink before game time? I mean,
oh yeah. We've seen it all. Trust me. There's many different methods out there. Some of the best ones I've heard, we weren't super strict on, like if they were sleeping in their own bed, like we weren't really bothering them at night. When we get to the hotel on a road trip, oh yeah, it's on lockdown for sure. But there's some great ones out there. Like there's some programs on road trips where they all have to turn in their phones.
Wow.
Some programs where they'll have a ring, like a rubber ring, kind of like I have here, and that will track how long you were asleep. And like you've got to present that data to the strength coach in the morning to prove that you were asleep at a certain time. There's definitely some good methods out there. But yeah, discipline's huge for sure.
And how about the food? Okay, so I always wonder, like before the games, are you carbing up a couple hours before the games? What's the procedure on that good stuff?
Yeah. I mean, the food can vary, right? I can remember our players at Belmont and UNC Greensboro, they were excited about a Domino's pizza, right? But you should see some of the spreads we had at my time at Cincinnati. I mean, 3-4 hours before the game, we've got everything out there. I mean, we got steaks, we got salmon, we got grilled chicken, we got a whole vegetable spread. It's endless salads. And then, sometimes if we're on a little win streak, we might have another late night snack that involves some ice cream, something along those lines. But yeah, for the most part, the eats were pretty solid.
So if you're a coach, you're eating pretty damn well during the season.
Yeah, probably too much. It is funny. Anytime, now if I see grilled chicken and pasta, I'm like, oh, we must have a game in 3 hours. I've had that meal thousands of times. But yeah, I don't eat as many 10:30 10:30 p.m. quesadillas anymore.
I love it. Okay, so I love food. So I got to tell you. So okay, before game time, how many hours before? Like, is there like 2 hours beforehand so it's digesting your system and just Gatorade or Powerade?
Yeah, we were 3.5 hours before tip was our pregame meal. There was a whole bunch of science behind that, and so that was our deal. Yep.
And then basketball players, I know football they lift a lot. You guys go a lot more like reps. Correct me, or not real heavy.
Off season, we're going heavy.
Okay.
But in season, we don't want them carrying around too much soreness. So yeah, more high rep kind of tone and maintain during the season.
Nice. Okay, Chris. So was there through your 10 years, there had to be players where you like really got to a point where they, you took them under your wing like a big uncle. I mean, do you have any good stories there you can tell us about, any of them?
Yeah, shoot. Yeah, there's so many that come to mind. One right now that comes to mind for sure is a young man named Isaiah Miller. He's in the NBA G League right now. Okay, coached him for 4 years at UNC Greensboro, and the reason why he's on my mind is because just earlier this week he tore his ACL, and like the first serious injury of his career. And I mean, I'm telling you, if you go look up Isaiah Miller highlights on YouTube, I mean, he's barely 6 feet tall, but he led the nation in dunks one year.
The nation. Wow, this guy's badass.
At 6 feet tall, he had a 50-inch vertical. I mean, just one of those electric players. And just like one of those, they don't come around too often, special talents. And we had him at little old UNC Greensboro because nobody else really saw what he had outside of us. And he cut down nets multiple times for us, won a couple championships with him. And, can remember going into his home on the recruiting visit and, getting to know his mom and his brother, the whole process, right? Just a really special young man. He's a father now. His daughter just had a birthday, somebody to still stay really connected to. And so we're wishing him a speedy recovery. And
yes.
Ironically, his mom is a travel nurse. And so now I have the opportunity to help her in the staffing world to get a good contract. And so yeah, that's one of those special relationships, and he's on my mind today for sure.
I love the cycle there, from him helping out the mom to, everything there. So, definitely, our prayers go out to him, and hopefully he has a speedy recovery, like you said, man. You never want nobody to go down like that with an injury like that.
Yeah, no doubt. He was, I can remember when he first got to campus, he had to write an appeal letter to the NCAA to get eligible because, the school he went to, he had some core credit issues, and he had a really hard time getting his thoughts on paper. And, some of those grammatical, like college level writing, he wasn't very comfortable with. And by the end of his 4 years, I mean, he was pumping out 5-page essays like it was nothing. He could do research, he could cite sources. And to me, like, that's what made coaching really special for me is, like, he became a man in that process.
Yeah.
And, it was really special to be a part of. He spent a lot of hours in study hall, a lot in the gym too, but a lot of hours in study hall. Never griped or complained about it. Just knew it was something he had to do to get that degree, which meant a lot to him.
What I love, Chris, is these players that come from like small schools, like, like the Belmonts and different ones like that, UNC Greensboro and stuff like that. And you see them rise to the top. You know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody loves the big dogs, but, these Cinderella stories where, the school, denied them or just like this, they didn't give them a chance because some people aren't good on tests. Some people ace it. I don't know about you, but I cram. At Penn State, I crammed every night. Did I forget it the next day? Hell yeah. I'm at the bar having a good drink. I'm like, did I pass? Oh, you get an A. I don't remember what I did. Right. But everybody is different. And I think, that's great that people gave him a chance to, thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I love it, brother. So, okay. So at this point, were you married through this whole process of the 10 years?
I got married at about halfway through my UNC Greensboro, my time there. I actually met my wife playing pickup basketball.
No way. Okay. Give us a story on that. I got to hear this, man.
Yeah, no doubt. This is a great one. So I'm about 6'5", my wife's 6'1", and we met at a pickup basketball game. And afterwards, I was like, 6-foot blonde shooting threes. I was like, okay, I'm gonna shoot my shot here. I asked her if she wanted to hang out, and she was like, "You're too young for me." She's 5 years older, but hey, a great recruiter doesn't stop, right?
Oh yeah,
great recruiter doesn't stop. I knew I was built for the staffing agency, staffing world, but no, eventually she came to her senses and found some good qualities in me. And so yeah, we have 3 kids, and they're all pretty tall already. So we might have some more basketball players in the family.
my God, you guys get around the country and just play basketball. Your team, the LePore team, man, just crushing it. So okay, so I got to ask you. So she said no, and you kept resisting. How long did it take, Chris? Come on, tell us all out there. How long did it take?
I was friend zoned for quite some time.
So patience, buddy.
Yeah,
patience.
yeah, no doubt. I had to go the patience route, eventually broke out of that and got my shot. So,
you got your shot, man. You went for the dunk.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But it's funny because she played college basketball and I actually didn't play college basketball. So, she holds that over my head pretty good.
And now, okay, so now my other question was like, how does she cope with this? You traveling, she already understands it. So, I mean, people that don't understand the traveling and all the time it works. So you had a great support system right off the bat with this.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, looking back, even my last couple years in coaching where we had 3 kids and I'm gone 100 nights a year and, working 80, 90, 100 hours a week. And just thinking back to like how we didn't live by family. I'm like, how did she do this and not just like run away on me? So yeah, definitely.
Okay, so here it is. I'm gonna throw you out there right now. 1-on-1, you and Jen, who's winning?
Oh, I'm taking that one easy.
Ooh, now, Jen, listen sometime. Look out, really?
I'll qualify and say right now on the golf course, she's about 4 or 5 strokes better than me. So I got some work to do there.
Okay. How about threes? You said she can juice threes. You can keep up with her?
Yeah, that one's gonna be close. 1-on-1, I like my chances because I can, probably get by her. But 3-point shooting, it's gonna be close.
Okay, so down the road,
we'll record that one for you.
I exactly said that. I said I'm ready to come wherever you guys are at, record this, be this on LinkedIn Live, and have the battle, the husband and wife, Chris versus Jen. Winner takes all.
Winner takes all. Let's go.
I love that, seriously. So your kids, like growing up and stuff like that, you're coaching. I mean, do you get time on the weekends to come home? Because it's a long season.
Yeah, no doubt. It's one of those year-round things, and the recruiting calendar really never stops. And so even when the season's over, that's when recruiting is hot. And so there's not a lot of times where you're not playing basketball and you're not recruiting. You're either doing one, the other, or both. Ultimately we'll get into my transition, but that was, part of the reason is like, man, there's a lot of t-ball games and soccer practices and things I need to be at, for my kids.
And in basketball, I know a lot about football because they'd be a football coach, but in basketball, how much time is spent in the room watching film and all that good stuff?
A lot of time is spent in the room, building out scouting reports. We would spend a lot of time on our opponents and, get down to the nitty gritty of the things that could give us an advantage. But we spent probably more time watching ourselves and just evaluating our current guys. What can we pull out of them a little differently? What lineups can we get out there that might help give us an edge in a game? So yeah, a lot of film, a lot of those whiteboard sessions. That strategy is kind of never ending.
Okay, so you're in the room. How many people's fallen asleep? I mean, you probably can't fall asleep, but the coach is going to yell at you. Am I in reading this the right way, where you're just not dozing off or daydreaming because they're going to call you out?
No, yeah, you got to be locked in those film sessions. I mean, that's time where we get our brain going. I mean, we're in it. I mean, this is when we leave this room, the decisions are made and we're not looking back. So now's the time. You got to be alert. If you have an opinion, you got to share it. You got to have your reasons why you're sharing that. And you got to have proof of, hey, I like this play design. Well, that argument's a lot stronger if I can show Kansas running that play successfully. Right. So there's a lot of pre-work that goes into those meetings too. But in terms of falling asleep, sometimes we've had some post-game film sessions that'll go till 2 or 3 a.m. And by the end, you're you might have to blink a couple times and make sure you're staying focused. But really, those long film sessions were kind of those things that we felt kind of made us different.
Now, did you guys break it up? I mean, for me being a hype person, I would be in there playing some music in the beginning, get them hyped up. I mean, doing like 3 hours or 4 hours just to film all day. I can't even sit through a movie. How's these kids do it?
Well, a lot of times the players are shielded from those long film sessions. Those are more staff strategy focused. And then so out of that 4-hour film session, we're only going to pull 30 minutes to show the team.
Okay.
So, we're going to pull a ton of clips out of the game, but then only 20, 30 minutes for the guys when we get down there into the locker room with the players. To your point, right? You only have their attention for so long.
Oh, yeah. Attention spans these days, after 7 seconds, out the door.
No doubt.
So going back to this, so I'm thinking right now, man, you got these players. So every game, after that game's over, you're already getting ready for the next game with film and editing and all that stuff. So there's no relaxation from like maybe a day or two, and then you're back at it, right?
Yeah. We kind of had the philosophy of, after a big win, like let's take an hour and then we gotta turn the page quick. We got another game in 2-3 days. We got to get ready. We gotta evaluate how we played in this one and then start working on the next one too.
So being on a coaching staff, even the head coach, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on that person. I mean, everything with the film. So I take it you have AV crews there to splice everything up, make sure it's ready for the athletes to come in and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Yep. Got to make sure the tech is working, baby.
Man, that's crazy. There's so much behind the scenes that people don't know. They think they just go out there with a ball and you see them, and you practice on the court for a little bit and that's it. But the behind the scenes stuff is amazing.
Yeah, it really is. There's so much operationally behind the scenes before you get to that product that's out on the court. No doubt about it. And I got to really see it all and be a part of it all.
Okay, Chris, the season's over. If you guys didn't make it to the championship or when it's over, how exhausted are you and the coaches after that whole journey?
I think it really depends on how it ends, right? Luckily I wasn't a part of too many losing seasons, so there weren't too many moments. Early on at Greensboro, we took our lumps for a couple years, but we got it turned around and won a bunch of games, and then kind of started a rebuild at Cincinnati that got off to a strong start. So it really all depends on how it ends, and now it ends a lot differently with the transfer portal and the NIL, kind of the new wave of legislation into college sports, because you can lose 7-8 guys at the end of the season by surprise, and there's just no telling who or when or how. You're going to lose some guys every year, some that'll surprise you, some that won't.
And you know what, this NIL, I don't want to get, because it's a little touchy subject, but I kind of think that, my opinion, and I'm going to speak my piece, is like, I think if you want to do transfer, I mean, you should stay out a year. You're just bouncing for the dollars and the team. And it's like, how does a coach ever keep a solid team together? You can't.
It's tough. You see it, like you look at the Final Four teams. I mean, some of those were totally revamped rosters from a year before, right? And then other teams have stuck together. Like Purdue and UConn were built totally different last year. One was a complete transfer portal rebuild. One was kind of organic growth through their own program, and both can win. So there's a lot of different formulas with the transfer portal, but I think ultimately for me, talking about the things that I loved about coaching, the transfer portal NIL era has kind of created more of they're on a 9-month lease with your program, and that'll be evaluated at the end of the year. And that for me kind of watered down my why of coaching a little bit.
You know what? And I see where you're coming from, because I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, should the players get paid? Heck yeah. But, just as bouncing around it's really teaching younger kids that they can just transfer from job to job to job if they don't get their way, and it's, sometimes me growing up, being a little bit older than you by only 5 years, Chris, wink, wink. I never tell you my age, but all joking aside is like, you work to get that starting spot, it's like, okay, freshman, you probably won't start maybe unless you're incredible. Sophomore, junior, you're going to get that starting job for the top 5, but just to say, well, I didn't get it, I'm bouncing somewhere else. I just don't know. On my eyes, I'm thinking it's telling people that, you know what, you're just going to just keep flipping till you get what you want. And sometimes you got to have hard work.
Yep. Yeah. And I think, through the lens of the players, like they've never been able to make money before. So they see this as an opportunity. And, you look around and you'll see coaches leave for a better job. Right. And so I think there's a sense with the student athletes, well, shoot, well, I have a better deal somewhere else. I'm going to take that too. So, I think it's great that they're being compensated, but it's definitely a little wild. How it's been integrated into the sport, and it'll be interesting to see how it changes over the next couple of years.
Oh my, it's just like AI and staffing. NIL is the same way with sports. It's like coming so quick. It's like, what's going on now? A couple more questions before we dive into a little bit of staffing is I want to know, so these players, it's their last year, last game. I mean, how emotional is that you might never coach that kid again?
Yeah, it's really tough to see them in the locker room when they know it's over, right? It's that moment that we try to instill in them every night we take the floor, that like at some point it's coming to an end. And it's really hard at 18 to 22 to really believe that. But when you see that moment in the locker room after their last game and to see it really hit them, those are tough moments as a coach for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. I could imagine that when they cry, and especially when you have like a banquet or something, like this is the last time we're ever going to coach each other to, coach together. It's tough.
Right. No doubt.
You there, buddy?
Oh, sorry. You went frozen.
All right. We're back again. We're
back.
Yeah, I think it was. We're having a snowstorm here outside Pittsburgh, so look out. But yes, so last thing I want to say about, and this is about recruiting a lot, like, do you have to go? I mean, when going into their homes and talking to the parents and stuff like that, I mean, that is almost part of what we're doing now with the staffing and recruiting. And I love some of this stuff that we're going to tie in now, especially the miniature movement, and program and all this stuff, because you can elaborate on this, Chris, but if you can coach basketball and stuff like that, you could be a hell of a person in staffing and recruiting, because it's all about that people first. And you already got that. Strategies, stress, when things don't go right. Guide us into that, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Obviously my background is college basketball. And when I got connected to Kyle Decker, who gave me an opportunity, which I'm really grateful for here with the Job Center, we started talking about the college basketball managers and kind of what we do, to your point, like the show behind the show, right? All the operation stuff being done behind the scenes. And there's so many transferable qualities. When you think about recruiting in college hoops, like you can't miss a detail. One little detail can make the whole thing vanish. And so your follow-up has to be elite. Your sense of urgency has to be crazy. And just the overall work until the job is done mentality. You take that into the staffing world and you're going to be just fine, because that's what clients want too, right? And that's what staffing companies want internally. And so I've had many conversations with my friends who are in coaching and their student managers, and they're all very curious now because of how kind of out of control the transfer portal and NIL is. Like, I wonder what it would be like if I moved over to the corporate world. I think maybe I could do that now. So I've had many opportunities to talk about that with some of my friends in the coaching industry, which has been great.
I love it. Okay, so let's go back one step here. So how did you get into staffing? You get a phone call and it's like, I'm ready to recruit you. Get over here.
I got to know Kyle, and he sent his kids to the summer camp that I run at University of Cincinnati, the basketball camp. So we got to know each other through that. And then, he helped out with a couple program initiatives, just really kind of jumped in and was willing to help with whatever we had going on. And him and I just kind of hit it off right away. And I didn't know anything about staffing. And you know, when I was sure that I was going to make a transition, you know, I had various conversations with companies, and so many were emphasizing industry experience. And then I had Kyle on the other hand, who's like, I want leaders in my company. I want
Got
winners
it.
in my company. Teaching you the staffing business, that's the easy part. I can teach you that. I need people with the qualities that are going to help our company grow. And that for me was just so eye opening to see, like, he gets it. He gets it. I want to work for that guy. And so again, I really had no idea what I was getting into, but it was so important for me to have that trust and rapport with the person I was going to work for next. I had been with the same guy almost a decade, and he had my back. I had his back. Like I needed that in my next job too, right? Especially something I don't know anything about. And so, you know, took the leap, and man, there's no looking back. I love it. I love it.
Well, you got one of the best coaches around, Mr. Decker, Coach Decker. We'll call him Coach D. You know,
No doubt.
he pulled the plug, and you know what? I'm glad that he connected with you too, because you guys as a combo together, it's like the Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen combo. Look out! This staffing world hasn't seen anything yet. Wait till you see Chris slam dunk in another 5 years. It's on.
Come on, baby.
But I love, like, you know, because what you did with the recruiting part and now in the staffing is so true. Like, you know, how you're making a difference, you know, in athletes' lives, and now how you're doing that with, you know, people that you deal with every day in logistics and wherever you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, another mentor of mine that described the staffing industry to me when I first got in it as this immersive experience. And I've kind of hung on to that as something that I totally agree with. Like, you got to be 2 feet into this thing to be great at it. And I love that about this industry. And it's been a lot of fun for me. And I'm just trying to learn and grow and get better.
Woo woo! That's what we want, man. You know what? It's a lifestyle, Chris. If I could tell anybody, staffing's a lifestyle. You know, we all fell into it somehow. We have all had previous careers, and now we just fell into this. And with your experience and your high energy, I got to throw this out real quick. You ready for this, man? Remember this? We already posted this, but I'm going to throw it out again. Look at this. Our first meeting. There's so much excitement, energy you have to have, right? Woo!
No doubt. You got to bring it, baby.
The Shark experience. And you know what? Everybody has a sad day. I always say, if you could make somebody fulfillment that day and hyped up, it's just like coaching basketball. If you're a coach and you're having a down day when there's a game, they're going to play that way, right? You got to be on your A game at all times. I think in staffing, the same thing. When you get on that phone or with that client, it's A time. It's game time. I always say that.
No question. I see that a lot already. You know, you might come out of one meeting and, man, it's not the meeting you expected, right? Your head spinning. You're like, oh my gosh, what happened here? But guess what? You got another meeting in 30 minutes. You better leave that at the door, baby. We got another door to walk into, and we got to bring it. So you're so right about that.
How much fun are you having in the staffing industry? Give it to me, Chris. How much fun are you having, buddy?
I'm having a blast. I really am. And, you know, the content of the job is a lot of fun for me. It's a people business. I mean, we are in the people industry. And so that relationship building, the connections being made, I love that. I'm all about people. I'm all about connecting. And I love too that I get to pitch for my son's little league team and coach my youngest son's t-ball team and take my daughter to her swim lessons and get in the pool with her, and can just kind of, you know, maybe put my phone down for an hour. And so I love the life that it's given me too.
I love that too. While your kids are growing up now, you know, with staffing, you have that flexibility now. You can be home in the evening, even if you're doing some evening stuff. You're not on the road all the time, 24/7 like you are in coaching. And you know what? You have the best of both worlds, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when you're in it, you're in it. There's no getting away from it. There's no time to relax. It's go mode. And I love that about this industry.
You know what? That's funny. Being a coach real quick, it's like that red zone I always call it. When you're in it, it's like nothing can stop you. Even if you're at the gym and you're pumping curls and stuff, like you don't care what's the outside world. You're like in this to get this done. If for a client, candidate, or whatever, it's like, I'm getting you a damn job today, you know, or whatever it is.
No doubt. Got to work till the job's done.
I love it, brother. Okay, so where can people reach at, man? You're on LinkedIn, everything, because people's got to reach out to Chris. Add him to LinkedIn. Are you on Facebook? What else, man?
Yeah, yeah. LinkedIn's a great place to find me. And I'm on Instagram, CL Let's Go. You know, you gotta have a let's go mentality about life.
Oh,
Right?
let's go.
Let's go. But yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Love it, man. Love it. Love it. Real quick here. If you guys get a chance, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. We have people like Chris in there all the time. It's all about helping everybody out. Brother, I appreciate this, man. You know what I mean? It was great to just sit down. I can't wait to our 6 months of excitement, what we're going to do. We're going to put you in the spotlight all the time, man. Everything we do. And you want to tell everybody, give me a little tip what happened last week. I gave you a little shark tip, and it kind of like is working. Go for it, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I just said, give me something that can separate in a sales conversation. And you know, you made a great point that people buy from people. Right? Like if you take the logo off your shirt for a second and just think about being that person that they want to buy from, right? Obviously, I believe in our company and I think we do a lot of great things, but they're going to buy from the person. And, you know, you made a point about a lot of times clients will feel like they don't have that person that they can call when they really, really need something. Whether that be, you know, something happens at 8 p.m. on a Friday night or over the weekend. And I love the "you got me" pitch. And so I used that on a prospect last week and it went great. So I'm keeping that in my back pocket forever, man. Thank you.
You got me, brother. That's all it's about.
Me.
Woo, man. We are excited here. All right, buddy. So you ready to give me a shout out on 3? Let's just do Woo. You ready? Come on. We got to do it.
Let's go.
1, 2, 3. Woo! Oh. This is the excitement you get with ASA Match. If you guys get a chance, make sure, reach out to myself. Please follow Chris. I mean, I can't even talk right now. I'm so excited for it. But you know what? Chris got so much good stuff coming on. It's pouring down snow here in Pittsburgh, so I'm going to get out of here in the studio. Hey, Chris, have a great week, buddy. And remember, follow his story. It's just beginning, guys. That's a wrap. See ya.